Greetings to you and welcome to this episode of Grace Podcast. I'm Timothy Muse. I'll be your host as we spend this time together today. It's a joy to be with you. I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to thank you for making this podcast a part of your day. And I want to thank you for being on this journey, for being part of the work that we do together. It is such a joy and a privilege to be able to come alongside you as you are on this journey of expansion and growth and creativity and vitality. It's a joy to know and be part of this. I'm so pleased that you are doing this. I'm so pleased that you're here. I'm so pleased that you're investing in yourself. Self-investment is the greatest investment we can make. And the fact that you're here doing it, it is incredible. It is awesome. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you for walking this journey, for taking this path. It is such a joy, and I'm honored to be able to come alongside you and be part of it. As always, if this podcast is helpful, please share it out there. Put it out there on your social media feeds. Put it out there on your Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, X. I post on all of them. If you follow me or the life coaching on any one of those feeds, you're going to see these episodes. If you're on one of the listening platforms, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Amazon Music, then follow us. Give us a rating and review. Every positive rating and review tells the platform people are listening. And you'll get notifications when a new episode comes out. And if you want to reach out to me directly, GraceLifeCoaching.com. That's the website. I'd love to hear from you. GraceLifeCoaching.com. That's where you can get a hold of me. It's got all my contact information. GraceLifeCoaching.com. It's the best way. It's got everything that I do. If you want some coaching, some conversation, whatever it is, reach out to me. GraceLifeCoaching.com is definitely the place where you can do that. I want to take some time today to wrap up our series on discipline and what it means to be a disciplined person and what it means to have discipline. We have talked a lot about discipline and what discipline means and how to create freedom and the roles of habits and why we struggle, how to build a daily identity, how to have mental strength and discipline and in relationships, in health and career and purpose. Today, let's bring it all together. Because lasting discipline is not just about what you do. That's very important. Lasting discipline is not just about what you do. It's about who you become. It's about an identity shift. It's about taking all of these things, all of these different aspects, and shifting your identity. Because trust me, my friends, when you dwell in an old identity and try to do new things, you struggle with it. Because the old identity still wants to win at the end of the day. So this is more than just doing new things. This is about shifting your identity. It's about who you are becoming as a person. And that's the part of this whole journey is about shifting our identity from one personhood to the next, changing who we are, shifting our identity. You see, when we talk about discipline, most people approach discipline as a task, something I have to do. I need to be more disciplined. I need to try harder. I need to stay consistent. Those are task words. Those are a task-oriented vision. But it's not just about fulfilling the task, because the task works temporarily, but it's not sustainable. Because we're living in old patterns, old identity, trying to add new things. And that old identity, sooner or later, is going to win. It's going to crop up. It's going to have its place. Because behavior without identity is fragile. It's fleeting. So where we really want to move to is we want to shift our identity. It's when we shift our identity that the actions and behaviors can come out more. Rather than saying, I'm trying to be disciplined, which is a task-oriented statement, we want to say, I am a disciplined person. That's an identity. An I am statement is an identity. An I'm trying statement is a task, okay? So when we shift our identity, that root, that foundation, that whole being, from I'm trying to be disciplined to I am a disciplined person, that begins to change everything. Because when discipline becomes part of your identity, then your actions begin to align with it naturally. See, that's how it works. Identity is the thing and action is the alignment. When we say I'm trying to be something, that's an action. When we say I am something, that's an identity. And out of that identity is where action begins to align naturally. If my identity is X, then my actions are going to represent my identity. So when we say things like I am a disciplined person, that's my identity. That is how I define myself. I define myself as a disciplined person. And out of that definition, my actions will come out accordingly. I am a disciplined person. Because when discipline becomes your identity, your actions begin to align with it naturally. A disciplined person doesn't ask, do I feel like doing this? A disciplined person says, this is just what I do. I mean, think about it. Think about it for a minute. Think about how that works here. My part of my discipline is I'm out of bed at 5 o'clock every morning. Now, some days I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get up, ready to start the day. But there's other days where it's just like, I don't feel like getting out of bed. It's warm. It's comfortable. I'm sleeping. I'm enjoying this. I don't feel like doing this. Now, I know I have to because everything else in my life is built around that discipline. And if I were to stay in bed an extra hour, then everything would change and everything would come apart. So it's not just I don't feel like doing this today. No, this is just what I do. I get out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning. That's my discipline. I start my day with a glass of water before anything else. That's my discipline. Do I always feel like it? No. But feeling doesn't dictate identity. See, when we are driven by what I feel like doing, and I'm not talking just like emotionally, but when I feel like doing X, if that's what drives me, then I'm going to struggle. But identity, when my identity is in discipline, then that discipline drives my behavior. Okay, so when we shift our identity from a task-oriented to an identity base, I'm a disciplined person. That's when our actions will align. Now, here's the important part. You don't just decide your identity once, okay? That's the thing. We want to think, oh yeah, I'm a disciplined person. I've chosen my identity and I stay with it. Identity is built over time. That's how it works. We build our identity over time. We build our identity by aligning ourselves with who we want to become through repeated action. Every time you follow through, you show up, you keep your word, you choose growth, you're reinforcing the identity that you're choosing, okay? Every time. And it's built over time. It's built in succession. It doesn't just happen overnight. We don't shift our identity overnight. We shift our identity over time. We build it over time. We decide it over time. Because I could say, you know what, I'm a disciplined person. But then if my actions and my words and my growth don't follow through with that, then I'm not choosing my identity. I'm choosing a different identity. So it's built over time. This isn't going to be an overnight shift. It's never meant to be an overnight shift. Growth isn't an overnight shift, okay? Growth happens when we keep showing up, when we keep following through, when we keep choosing to keep our own word and choosing growth. That's how our identity shifts and grows and builds. Every action is a vote for the person you want to become. Every action is a vote for the person you want to become. That's a quote from Atomic Habits. So if you want to become disciplined, you don't wait till you feel disciplined. You act disciplined. And over time, that becomes who you are. Your actions will stem from your identity. And if you want to shift your identity to being a disciplined person, then your actions need to represent that shift. You're not just going to wake up one day and go, oh, today I'm starting to be a disciplined person and that's where I'm going to go from here. No, your actions will identify who you are, and your identity will drive your actions. It's a symbiotic relationship. You need both, okay? So if you want to become disciplined, don't wait till you feel disciplined. You act disciplined, and over time, that becomes who you are. Your actions form your identity forms your actions. Okay? It's a symbiotic relationship. Now, here's where many people get stuck. They're trying to build discipline, but they're still holding on to an old identity. And that's where the shift needs to come in. It's like I'm trying to be disciplined, but the old thought is I'm not consistent. All right? I struggle with showing up. I never follow through. You know, those are self-sabotaging statements. I'm not consistent. Well, maybe you weren't consistent, but when you want to become something new, you show up consistently. Maybe that means that you need to shift back a little bit on the amount of things that you have, because consistency can be dealt with in a number of ways. And one of them is if we're too busy, we're not going to be consistent. If we're being dragged and pulled in all different directions. I am a disciplined person. And though I wasn't consistent before, I am a consistent person. I am showing up. I am going to follow through, even when it's uncomfortable. See, most of the time what happens when people are striving for this is when it becomes uncomfortable, they stop. Like a Roomba. I talked about this before. You know, you have those Roomba robots, and their job is to vacuum the floor. And when they bump into the wall, they go in a different direction because they can't just keep hitting the wall. But the faultiness in that is if they bump into a dog toy, then they go in another direction. Even though they could just push through, they're hardwired to, as soon as they hit resistance, bounce back. Well, that's a lot of how people live, is that hardwiring. As soon as I hit resistance, I bounce back. I go in a different direction. A changed identity means I'm going to push through that resistance. I'm going to push through it, and I'm going to keep going. My changed identity means I'm going to push through that resistance. So I may not have been consistent before, but I'm going to be consistent now. I may have struggled with discipline before, but I'm disciplined now. This is a shape of the system. Identity and old thoughts will continue to drive us into old patterns. They shape your action. If you think I'm not consistent, you're not going to be consistent. If you think I struggle with discipline, you're going to struggle with discipline. We want to change our identity, okay? And our identity changes when we have new thought patterns. You have to let go of the old story and replace it with a new one. Alan Watts said you're not required to be who you were 5 minutes ago. I love that statement. You're not required to be who you were 5 minutes ago. Okay? So we're allowed to change our story. We are allowed to take our old story and replace it with a new one, a new identity. I do follow through. I do show up. I am disciplined. Okay. And if you find yourself working in that new identity and it's a struggle, that means you start to ask questions about what do you have surrounding you? Maybe you have too much surrounding you. Maybe there's too much around you that is pulling you in too many directions for you to be consistent. Okay. So even if you don't feel fully true in those new identities yet, you follow through. It's creating that. New things don't always feel comfortable and right away, all right? So your new identity, I follow through, I show up, I'm disciplined. Even if there's a part of you that's like, yeah, remember, yeah. But even if you don't feel fully invested in it yet, identity is not just discovered, it's created. And you create it by showing up, by following through, by being consistent, by being disciplined. This is how it is. So like I said before, it's a symbiotic relationship. Your identity is driven by your actions are driven by your identity. So you have to walk with both of them together. That's why we spent so much time in all of these different actions through this series, but those actions are forming an identity, and your identity is going to form your actions. That's how it works. That's what we want. That's what we strive for and long for. Okay? Identity, action, action, identity. Even if it doesn't feel fully true yet, identity isn't just discovered, it's created. And so it's not going to feel fully true right away. It's going to feel a little imbalanced. It's going to feel a little off. But over time, that feeling will continue to grow into something else. And that's what you're longing for. That's what you're wanting. Okay, so let's bring this into practicality. Let's make this practical for a minute here, my friends. If you're shifting your identity to become a more disciplined person, your daily actions have to reflect that. Okay, your actions are going to reflect your identity is going to reflect your actions. I've said that many times already because it's really, really important. You know, so when you look at moments, you ask yourself, what would a disciplined person do in this moment? Okay, what would they do? When it's time to get up in the morning, you know, a disciplined person is going to get up with intention. The day has begun. I'm ready. I'm moving into this. I've got things to do, places to go, things to achieve. I'm ready. That's what a disciplined person is going to do. When work needs to be done, a disciplined person focuses and follows through. That's getting rid of distractions. We talked about that before. Making a system where you can work and that work is going to be created. A disciplined person, when work needs to be done, they're going to focus and follow through. When it's time to take care of their health, a disciplined person is going to show up. Yeah, I really want to dig into that bag of chips and drink that third soda of the day, but a disciplined person says, you know what, that's not good for my health. So I'm going to have an apple and a glass of water. When things get difficult, a disciplined person is going to keep going. Now, hear me when I say this, because it's really important. There is a point when things are so difficult, it's time to walk away. Okay? There is. That, you know, we're not just supposed to push through everything and it's all good no matter what. No, there is a point when a disciplined person is going to walk away, but that point doesn't come immediately. All right. A disciplined person is going to keep going when things get difficult. And they're going to rationalize and realize, okay, this is a point where I need to step away. But a disciplined person is going to keep going, not perfectly, but consistently. It's the consistency within the action that builds the identity. It's the identity that builds the consistency in the actions. All right. So ask yourself, what would a disciplined person do in this moment? What would discipline look like in this moment? That's how we create identity. You become disciplined by acting like disciplined people. That's what happens. And then you become disciplined in your identity, which then your actions show your discipline. So let's anchor this a little bit. I want you to create a simple identity statement. Coming out of this whole series that we've been listening to, I want you to create a simple identity statement, something that you can go back to. Now, maybe you've never created identity statement before, an I am statement. I am ... I am a son. I am a husband. I am a disciplined person. I am a person who is curious. I am a person who loves creation. Whatever. I am. So create a simple identity statement around discipline, something you can come back to daily, something you can just hear over and over again. You know, it could be something like, I am a disciplined person who shows up, follows through, and chooses growth daily. That's an example. It doesn't have to be yours. If you like it and you want to adopt it, go ahead. But make a simple identity statement. Make it your own, all right? Make it personal, make it real, and repeat it. Okay, it needs to be sustainable. It needs to be achievable, and repeat it. Not just as words, not just as things to say, but through your actions as well. So if you need to write it on a sticky note and put it on the bathroom mirror in the morning, and that's what you look at as you're getting ready for the day, then as your day is being directed, go back to that statement. If I am a disciplined person who shows up, follows through, and chooses growth daily, then in this moment, in this action, I would ... Okay? Follow through. Because the goal is not to think differently. It's to live differently. So our thoughts and our actions need to align. So we can think I'm a disciplined person all day, but in that discipline, I don't live it out. No, we want to not just think differently, but live differently. Okay? So as we move out of this, take a moment and reflect. Who am I becoming? What identity am I reinforcing daily? And am I willing to act like the person I want to become, or the person I've always been? That's what growth is. That's probably the growth question that we really need to ask ourselves. Am I willing to act like the person I want to become, or the person I've always been? And that'd be my question to you. Go back to that identity statement. What is your identity statement now? Is your identity statement now pointing towards discipline and growth and showing up? Do I want to keep doing that? Or do I want to act like the person I want to become? Do I want to live into this? Retrain my body, retrain my thoughts, retrain my mind to become the person I am longing to be. Your life changes when your identity changes. Your identity changes when you show up and you live like the person you want to become. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. Discipline is that bridge. Do you want to show up as a disciplined person? Do you want to show up and alter your identity to be one of a disciplined person? Or do you just want to keep showing up for the person that you have been? Showing up for the person that you always have been. Thank you, my friends. That's what I have for you for today. This series was never just about discipline. It's about transformation. And here's what I want you to remember. You don't need to change everything overnight. I've talked about that before. You don't need to change everything overnight. You just need to keep showing up. One decision at a time, one habit at a time, one day at a time. The life you want is built by the discipline you practice daily. And that's really true. So keep showing up. Stay consistent, stay intentional, keep becoming. That's what the goal of this life is. Keep becoming who you want to become. If this podcast is helpful, please put it out there. If this episode has really helped you, then please put it out there. Put it out there for others to hear, because this is information I want shared everywhere. Because at Grace Life Coaching, we want you to be the best you.